y'all. I got something a little new for us while I take a second to get everything, to double check everything. So let me get that open. But welcome, welcome, welcome. It is another Freedom Fridays. Let me see. Okay. And yep, we're getting all this stuff together. So today, I'm just double checking everything. And while I do, I got a little something for you. Wait, let's see if it's gonna play. I just had it. Um, yeah, share this tab instead. Okay, we're gonna get started in just a minute or so, and that gives me a second to make sure everything is doing what it's supposed to be doing. And I can start saying hello to you, wonderful ladies in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me see. Nope, that wasn't what I wanted. Up here. There we go. So if you are here, take a second to say hello in the chat so I can say hello to you. Choose that. Okay. So, getting into the studio. Welcome, welcome, y'all. Listen, y'all know I've been having technical difficulties. I think we got the video right today. I think we got the I think we got the music. I think we got everything is going good. Okay. That gave me just a little bit of a second to get everything together. So yes, welcome y'all. Welcome to another Freedom Fridays. I hope everything is playing in all the places. Take a second to say hello in the chat. If you are new here, welcome. If you're not new, welcome. I'm always happy to see you. Welcome back. Yeah, so this is Freedom Fridays, happy hour. And this is an evolution of a weekly live stream that I have done that's been all about co-planning. We still have that as well. That's going to be inside our community for those who are ready to take the next step. But for us that come together right here on, for happy hour, this is about having or creating a community for Black women to come together, talk about the things that are blocking our rest, and start talking about ways to overcome it, in addition to just having a good time and winding down the week together. So, thank you for joining me. Thank you for taking this time to wind down and rest with me. Every week, I'm going to be doing a topic. I'm working my way into that. This week specifically, I have a video that one of our lovely ladies that join us every week, she sent this video to me. And the headline says, "Women are not meant to work." It's a very interesting video. I thought it would be a great conversation for us to have today. And so I'm excited for us we're going to watch it together in a little bit, and then we're going to talk about it. Actually, let me make sure I get that open. So I'm getting that open right now. So, but the way that we're going to start this off, and I've been evolving this as we do this every week, because I've been trying to decide what things are we bringing from what we were doing before into what we're doing now. Like what, not everything. I don't think it needs to be exactly the same now that we're doing this at a different time. And the vibe is a little bit different. We're going to keep the co-planning, but again, I want that to be available when, or I want that to be available in the community when you guys are ready to take the next step. Like you've been, I want you to spend time in this community first, starting to take action towards resting more. Like I want this to be the one time of the week at bare minimum. I'm hoping you're taking a lot more time throughout the week, but at bare minimum, this is the one time a week where you're coming together to rest. And then everything else, then when you're ready to take that next step, to start transforming your schedule, to start scheduling rest, to start prioritizing it on a regular basis, then I would love for you to take advantage of some of the resources and join the community and the co planning session where we take time and we schedule that rest together. I want you to think about that. This is the happy hour. We coming in, we're having a good time. I want you to think about that as the time where, like, you would go to a gym and you do your workout with everybody else, and it helps you stay accountable. It helps you be able to show up and do the work without thinking too hard. Like you're getting direct guidance on how to start getting more rest and fun in your life. That's what that co-planning session is, and that's going to be inside of the free community. When you're like, okay, I'm ready to get a little bit more. I think I like her. I think I like this community. I'm ready to go a little deeper. So just so you can understand the difference between the two. Yeah, that's what you can expect from this. Um, so yes, let me see. What else did I need to tell you? What else did I need to tell you to get started? Okay. So now that you understand the difference between the two, I know definitely some of the things that we're going to be doing here every week. I want us to, we're definitely going to be celebrating our wins from the week, and I want to make sure we get back to giving out stickers. The last couple weeks, I have been all over the place and trying to figure out what this looks like. And also, let me take that back. I won't say I've been all over the place. I will say that I've been showing up and allowing this to kind of evolve in the way that it needs to be. Like I understand that it's not going to look the same as it did before. And so I wanted to kind of show up and kind of see how things evolve, see how people interact, and get an idea of what this could be, um without forcing the structure yet, like without necessarily creating a structure yet. So now that we've been going through this a couple weeks, I think I'm ready to get the structure together. Also, too, listen, I think we finally got the technical difficulties figured out, because that has been probably one of the saddest things. Like last week, we had a good handful of people that joined, and I was having technical difficulties. Y'all, please give me your grace. I need it. I'm receiving it right now because I've been having all the things. So I think that I've got it figured out. I think I've got the timing of the things that go before and after this figured out so that I have enough time to troubleshoot. So yes, thank you guys for your grace as I've been figuring that out. And I hope that now that we've got all these things worked out, that we can just go from here. Just take it and go from here. Okay. So, as I said, one of the first things, the way I think this is going to go is we're going to, start by just connecting with each other and then taking time to celebrate our wins from the week, because I know this for sure. One thing, if you are up in this community and you are trying to build your soft life, I speak to women who are corporate professionals, who are entrepreneurs, or some combination of the two. And we are get it done women. We are women who, when when something comes on the to-do list, we're automatically thinking about how to get it done, where we're going to get it done. And 9 times out of 10, we're thinking about how we're going to get it done for ourselves. And one thing we're not good at is when we do all of that, we're not good at celebrating the things that we have accomplished. And so instead of taking time to pause, um, we say on to the next thing. And I am very intentional about helping my clients switch that, because the more that you say to yourself, on to the next thing, on to the next thing, on to the next thing, the more that you are building burnout in you. And the more that you are making space to um, allow yourself to not pause. Pausing to celebrating your wins is a sacred pause. It's an opportunity to say, wow, I actually did something good. I did something amazing. Listen, I did something great. Like, take those times to pause and pat yourself on the back. And so that's why I want to start every week with celebrating our wins. So let's do that. I want when you do that, I hope that you take some time a little bit every day as a part of your weekday wind down or your workday wind down. At the end of the day, I have a routine for my workday startup and my workday shutdown, where I do different things. But I hope that you take that some time with your workday shutdown and take some time and say, well, what did I celebrate? Like, what did I accomplish from the day? And take it some time to write that down and celebrate it. And then you could come share that on Freedom Fridays with us at happy hour. Okay. I got cramps today, y'all. So I got the ibuprofen in my bag, in my pocket. Hey, Keena, welcome. I'm glad you got a chance to join us today. Listen, let me know. I think that I got some of my technical difficulties fixed. Let me know if it's not fixed, because if it's not, I'm probably not gonna stay with I don't think I'm gonna be able to do uh Riverside, which is a shame because Riverside was working just fine when I wasn't paying for it. But now that I'm paying for it, it's acting crazy. And I'm like, I'm gonna need you to get this together. But if it's acting crazy, I have another alternative. It just means I have to go through the trial and error again. But hopefully it's working, Keena. So let me know. But yeah, so what I was saying was that making sure that celebrating your win should be a part of your work day shutdown every night too, where you take it after you've done your day. I have like just a couple things that I do at the end of the day. I do a brain dump. I write down my celebrations when I do my brain dump. And then I'm like, droop, 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 I'm done. Like, I'm ready to move on. So Akina said it's all clear. Yay. Okay, good. I'm happy to hear that, because I'm like, listen, we can't have this every week. Like, we this got to get better. So I'm happy to hear that. Okay. So yeah, so celebrating our wins, that's one of the ways that'll make it a little bit easier to come together and celebrate your wins when we get here on Friday. If you're not ready for that, that's okay. When I ask you, then I want you to take just a couple minutes and do some internal reflection and ask yourself, what am I celebrating for this week? And then I would love for you to share it in the chat so that I can celebrate it with you, so that we as a community can celebrate it with you as well. So yes, what are you celebrating this week? And let me tell you this, if you're like, oh, I don't have any big things that happen this week, it's not about being at the end of the journey. Like, we're learning to celebrate wins all the way through the steps and things that we're doing. So, whatever you're celebrating, listen, you could be like, I'm celebrating that I made it through these cramps today. That's a win. Okay. You can be celebrating so many different things, but don't put your own bias or baggage, for that matter, on how big or small you feel like your win is. Just share it. Share it in the chat. Okay. I love it. All right. So um make sure you also take a second and say hello. So whatever wins that you're sharing, share those in the chat. While you're doing that, I'm going to think about what are my wins that I'm celebrating for this week. Um, let me see. I did some for one. I am going to use that first one. I am celebrating um, the smiling through these cramps right now. Which I want to talk about that because one of the things that I have been spending a lot of time kind of researching and getting into is understanding perimenopause and HRT, which is hormone replacement therapy, which I was just listening to a podcast from someone who's been on my channel, Michelle Fox. She was on my channel maybe last year when I was in Mexico. So that had to have been last year in May. But she just did hormone replacement therapy treatment with a provider, and she's doing a series on her channel where she's her provider is talking about her story and how she got into it. And then Michelle is also talking about her story and about how that helped rebalance her. And it helped her. I don't want it to be just about this, but I think it's important because I have found that my body and the shape that my body is in is an indicator of not just what I eat or my level of exercise. It's also an indicator of my hormones and some of the other things that are happening. And so her series is talking about doing hormone replacement therapy and how that was affecting her body, and how the doctors, even as her provider, her doctor is a certified doctor, that she went to doctors that were women too and didn't understand this and didn't really help her and just kind of blew past this and how helpful it was. So um I'm going to I definitely want to reach out to them. I already let her like I put a bug in her ear saying, "Hey, I want you to come on and talk about your experience and like what you and your doctor did." And maybe I'll ask her doctor to come on and be a part of it as well. So that was a long celebrate. The win was celebrating that I am showing up despite the cramps. But the reason the HRT and the perimenopause came to mind is because I was not a person I had cramps, but not that often and never really that bad and never for 2 days. Like I've had them for going on 2 days now. I'm pretty sure this is an effect of perimenopause and the way that my hormones are off. And so that's why all of that came to mind, because I would love to have her on to share with us about what to look for and how we can how we can get help so that, listen, like these things are not normal. We think that weight gain at once we get older is normal. We think that mood swings are normal. We think that, all of those, we think that the depression, that anxiety that we tend to get later in life is normal. It's not. All of that is part of your hormones fluctuating in perimenopause. So okay. You see how deep I'm getting into this. This is how you know I'm a nerd. Because when I believe in something and when I see the value of something, I will get on a rant and I will start talking about it. So here we are. Hey Meg, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. How are you? Listen, Keena has a win. Keena said her win is I meditate at least 3 times a day. What, for the whole week, Keena? Get it. When I first read it, I was thinking you were saying I meditated at least 3 times today. But that sounds like 3 times this whole week, like, or 3 times a day, every day this week. That's intense. I love it. Get it, man. Get it, Keena. I love it. That's so good. Yes. Okay. So we got a couple wins coming in. I love for it. Keep sharing your wins. Let me see. What other wins do I have today? Um, oh, good. Keena said, thank you for the explanations. You're welcome. Yes. Like, how did all of that connect in my head? Because I surely went off on a tangent. And um again, like I just, it's so important because we don't have a lot of people talking about. I feel like I hear a lot of people talk about it, but I think it's because I'm researching it. You know how when you start looking things up on the algorithm in one place, then it starts showing you that thing everywhere all over the internet because all of it is tracking us. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. I said, if y'all gonna track us, at least show me something that I actually want to hear about. So at least it's been showing me things that I actually want to hear about. So yeah, that's been good. That's definitely a win. And the things that I have started doing already towards that for perimenopause and dealing with hormone replacement therapy, that's been helping with my hives. Hives are not completely gone, but it's helping. So that's a win too. um I did have a stronger outbreak this week, but I'm gonna say out of the last 7 days, only one day has been like a heavy outbreak. The other days have been either medium to minimal. So I'm taking that as a win for this week. I'll use that as my second win. What is my third win from this week? Let me see. Let me see. Um. Oh, so I have a girlfriend here in where am I at? Charlotte. That's the other thing. I can't remember where I'm at half the time. Um, I have a friend here in Charlotte, and we hadn't had a chance to hang out because every new city brings different challenges for me. And I'm not complaining about them. It's just that they're different. And so I love hanging out with her. She's like my only other single girlfriend that doesn't have kids. Cause all of our friends go through different seasons of life. And so their level of ability to hang out and like friend is different based on what they're going through in their life. And so I love that I have her. And yet, since I've gotten here, I have not had as much time as I would like to be able to hang out with her. But we got together this past Wednesday and we took a walk and we started talking, and y'all, an hour went by like it was nothing. I'm like, girl, we can hang out for the next like 5 days straight, and it still has stuff to talk about. So it was such a good time hanging out with her. I have to send her a message and just tell her again, like, I really enjoyed her. And then I'm hoping I have to invite her over. The temperature is starting to drop here in Charlotte. Is it dropping where y'all are at? Is it getting colder? Hopefully I can get her over here. She's actually a country girl, so she would love like being able to come sit out here on a patio. Not that I don't love it, but I'm not a country girl. I'm a city girl. So, but yeah, she would enjoy this. So I need to invite her over to experience the patio. Maybe that's what I'm gonna call it, the patio, the egg chairs, the vibes. So those are a couple of my wins. Make sure you're taking a second to say hello in the chat. Um, and thankfully, it's showing on both places. Listen, because that's another thing that I have to pay attention to with Riverside. Sometimes it be doing its own thing. It makes me mad. I'm not gonna lie. I'm thinking about switching to another place. Hey, don't yeah, I was gonna say thank you. You have a good day now. You too. So yeah, I lost my train of thought. So I'm considering not doing Riverside anymore, which is a shame because like I said, it was working great when it was free. But now that I'm paying for it, it's acting crazy. So all right. Keena said, Autumn is definitely here. Love the crisp weather. Keena, you love the cold. I don't know if I'm ever gonna get to that place. I love it to be 90 degrees and a breeze. We're like on the opposite spectrum, but I love that you love it. It is definitely here. What are your favorite fall activities, Keena? I need to go add that too. I need to add that to the rest activities deck, the worksheet. But you know what? Actually, you just reminded me. I'm not going to add it to the deck because I'm not going to add it to the worksheet because I'm starting to work on the deck, which I'm very excited about that. And I've been kind of putting in my mind how I want this to work. So my thought is that it's going to be a extended deck, and it's going to have a directions section, and then, which is probably not going to be that many cards, but then I'm going to have a set of cards for each type of rest. And there are 7 types of rest. So spiritual rest, and we started talking about this before, spiritual rest, creative rest, physical rest, all of these different types of rest. And on each card are going to be different activities. And so you will be able to do a body scan and ask yourself, hey, body, like, taking a second in to really listen to your body and hear what your body is telling you and asking it what kind of rest that you need. And then you take the deck and lay the deck out, the deck, that type of rest for that your body told you. So if it's like your body told you you needed spiritual rest versus creative rest, you take that spiritual rest deck out, lay it out, pick a card, and then you get to all of the activities on the spiritual rest cards are different activities that you can choose from there. And I'm feeling like that helps to simplify, like, what is it that I need to do for spiritual rest? What does that mean? Because I think it's very easy to flatten rest, but there's more. There's more to it. And you need to make sure you have fun in there too. So um I want to make sure there's some really good fun activities in addition to there's stillness activities, but I want there to be active rest activities as well. So I'm excited. I'm working on that, and I'm excited to the goal is to have that come out January 1st. Now, forgive me if I have to push back the date based on production times and delivery times, but it's coming out. I'm going to say January 1st. Okay, so that makes me excited. Meg said, it's starting to get cooler. I broke down and turned on my heat. Listen, Megan, you are in Detroit. I'm surprised you didn't have your heat on already. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't have the heat on. I don't control the heating and cooling at our house. So I'm not sure. I don't know if the heat is on or not, but I feel like it is because it's warmer in the house than it is out here. You see, I got my sweater on. I didn't need it in there. Um, and then I cracked the window at night so that it could get even cooler in my room. So I'm surprised. I'm surprised you waited this long to get your heat on, girl. Because you in Detroit, it's cold. I don't know how you handling it, girl. Because I likes to be 90 degrees in a breeze. Well, tell me this, Megan. What is your preference? Your temperature preference? Do you prefer it to be cooler or warmer? Because that would say a lot in itself. Okay. So yes, it's definitely getting cooler. I was like, man, so my electric blanket, I had it for a couple years, and then the after you use them for a while, the heating function will die. And it could be because you're washing an electric blanket, because you can wash them, or it could just be like that they're just getting old. But so I need to re up and get a new electric blanket. So when I'm sitting out here, I'm probably have a hat on, but my little snuggly blanket gets me kind of excited. I will say, Keena, I understand that kind of vibe in the falls, like the snuggle vibe. It would be cool to have um a little fireplace as well. Not a big fireplace because I'm not that into fireplaces like that, but yes, that would be nice as well. Listen, oh, and listen, you just said that. I didn't even see that. Keena said, I love fireplaces and fire pits versus mechanical heat. Yes, I get that. So that means you don't really like electrical fireplaces either. Like you like it to be a full on, you got some wood in a fireplace and that bad boy is burning. I'm guessing that's what you mean. I get that. And then you said San Diego is nice all year round. Yes. Costa Rica is like that too. That was probably my favorite thing about Costa Rica. But the one thing I like about Costa Rica is rainy season, because it's a little bit more humid, it makes it feel cooler. So you can still have your like cozy. I had my electric blanket in Costa Rica, so I still enjoyed that cozy vibe, even while it was nice all year round. Like it stayed between. Definitely, it never went higher than 90. I want to say it didn't go higher than mid 80s, but it did go down to like 70s, you know? So it was in that vibe really all year round, which is very nice weather. Can't complain. Megan said, if I had to pick, I prefer it to be cooler because to me, it's easier to warm up than it is to cool off. You know what? At this time in my life, I think I still prefer it to be warm, but I have also been dealing with the night sweats, which again is another perimenopause thing. Um, so I like that I could stick my foot out and it's cooler. And I'm like, oh, relief. So I get that. But generally during the day, I like it to be warm. But I get that. You said I like, for the long time, I thought that I didn't mind it to be cold. But you said you like it to be cooler because it's easier to warm up. Sometimes it's hard to warm up, though. I guess it depends. Yeah. I don't know. I get it, though. You said I'd rather be cooler. I get it, Megan. I got it. Okay. But Megan said, but last week it was in the 80s. This weather is crazy. You know what? I think we just have to decide. We have to recognize that that's just what's going to happen in fall and spring, that the weather in those two seasons is going to feel like somebody is turning the light switch on and off and on and off and on and off. And then finally it stops and it stays in one direction, you know? And then like summer is like, it does that in the fall. So in the summer, the heat is on. And then the fall, the switch is going on, off, on, off, on, off. And then the winter, it finally stays off. And then spring, it's off, on, off, on, off, on. And then finally it's summer and it stays on. You know, like that's kind of, I think that's just what four seasons look like. You know what I mean? Is that kind of vibe where in our fall and spring, it's up and down, it's up and down. I don't know. Did it ever like consistently go like this and then just stay off? I don't know that it's ever done that. I don't know. But yes. Okay. So let me know if you got any more wins. We can celebrate that in the chat. And then I want to make sure we do stickers today. So I'm going to make sure. Let me see. I need to get that. Okay. Oh, because this is actually, yes, this is actually supposed to be over here. Okay, okay, okay. And then that could be there. That's fine. Okay, so then that allows, I had to make sure I have the right windows open. We haven't been doing stickers because I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to manage all of these things. And like I said, I think I'm going to do where I still want us to be able to do the co-planning session where it's free and accessible. It's like the next step. And I think I'm going to do that from 3 to 4. Can you hear? Did you recognize I said think? We probably won't do the co-planning part together until early next year while I'm still figuring out these details. Um, but as for now, I still want us to do the sticker. So we'll do sticker here. Um, and either way, that allows us all to be able to get our sticker. So if you've prioritized time this week for rest and fun, and see, this is why I like doing it with the co-planning. Y'all, I don't know. What do you think? Because when we do it with the co-planning, we're doing it all together where we're saying, hey, I scheduled rest and fun for this week and I followed through with what I scheduled. I told myself that I was going to prioritize rest and fun for this week, and I did it. And as a reward, I'm getting a sticker. You see how those kind of flow together. Whereas if we don't do it here, if we do it here and we don't have that together, I don't know that it flows together very well. And that's why I've been going back and forth on whether we'll do it or not. But at least you can hear my thought process and what I'm trying to figure out. So if you have thoughts, I'm not offended if you share your thoughts. Share your thoughts with me. Let me know. Um, yes. So that being said, we're still gonna do stick it today. And I will try not to be wishy-washy. Even though based on the logic that I just talked us through, I think it needs to stay with the co-planning session. Yeah, I really do. So yeah, either way, we're going to make sure we celebrate our wins every week, and then we're definitely going to have a topic every week. And I'm excited to start having guests come on. And actually, I think that's probably better to keep it separated that way, so that when we have guests come on, we can do our celebrations, celebrations of our wins, and then we can move into the topic. So that's something I'll definitely keep in mind as we go into next week. Okay. All right. So now, that being said, let us go ahead, and I want us, so the topic for today, did you see? I'm going to start doing the Freedom Fridays thumbnails, where since this is all about like us getting together and having our drink and like talking about about the different topics around rest and getting rest. um I'm going to start making the thumbnails and the head and the titles of the video so that you can have an idea of what we're going to talk about. So Kina sent me this amazing reel on Monday, and I was like, oh, that's going to be a really, really, really good conversation. We should definitely talk about that on at Freedom Fridays. And so I want us to watch this reel. It's a reel, so it's not like crazy long. I want us to watch this reel together. And then I want to hear you guys' thoughts and perspectives about it. So let me go ahead and get that up and I might show it again once we get into the conversation. But let me go ahead and get it started right now. So I'm going to share screen, and let's share this one. And you should be able to hear the audio. I haven't started it yet. Let me take the mute off. I might have to do that so that it starts from the beginning. Okay.
Us is making us more masculine. Listen, the system we live in runs on a masculine solar clock. Men's biology follow a 24-hour hormonal cycle. Steady energy, resets daily, and consistent output. On the other hand, women's biology is totally different. We run on a 28-day lunar cycle with 4 distinct phases that shifts our hormones, energy, mood, creativity, desire, and even our libido. So fellas, if your woman is never in the mood, this might be why. During menstruation, we naturally need more rest, nourishment, and retreat. Afterwards, energy rises, we feel more social and creative. Ovulation peaks with high energy and libido. And then before the next cycle, we turn inward. We're less social and more reflective. But society ignores this. The 9-to-5 grind, school, work, all designed for a man's biology. So what happens when we're forced to perform even when our body needs rest and nourishment? Stress builds, cortisol rises, and it disrupts estrogen and oxytocin, the hormones that fuel femininity, softness, and connection. The result? Women become more hardened, more closed off, aggressive, emotionally drained, and disconnected from our feminine essence. Men also suffer under patriarchy because this unnatural system spikes their stress levels and pulls them from their natural roles and being able to connect to their divine essence and their purpose as men. Capitalism taught us to tie our worth to productivity, but that's not who we are. The solution? Building community, divesting from these parasitic, unnatural systems, returning to ways of living and being that honor our bodies, our cycles, and each other. And men, it's time to rise in your divine role, to be the steady rock, the protector, the safe foundation, so that women can rest, open, and thrive in their feminine essence again. The women aren't meant to work, and forcing us is making us more masculine. Listen, the system we live
That
in
in
runs.
itself, y'all. So I'll come back to it if we want to watch it again. But that in itself is a hell of a hook. So, okay. How do y'all feel about that? Keena, I know you had some thoughts and you were talking about how this is absolutely true. And there were some there were some other thoughts that you had about it. So I would love for you to share yours in your chat, in the chat. I have a lot of different thoughts about this. A lot of different thoughts. Now here's what I'm gonna start with. I agree. The 9 to 5 hustle culture grind is not really set up based on the empowerment or even the flow of how women can perform at their best. Okay. That's number one. That's the first thing. Number two, did you see? I believe it's a Republican. I know it's a Republican. I don't know his name because I don't watch politics enough. But it was on Sunday, the show Sunday Morning, I think it was, or maybe it was CBS, where there is a political stance that in order for women to be a part of the military, they need to that that the whole that all militia, pretty much any person who is in the military, need to uphold the same standard as men. Because right now there's different standards based on men and women, and then also based on age within that. And he's trying to flatten it so that men and women have to um, uphold the same standard. Can you tell I have a smirk on my face? Because I honestly think that's absolute bullshit. That's a very Republican back-ended way of trying to put women back into a place of being pregnant and barefoot. And this brings me to what my initial thought was when I saw that reel. While I absolutely agree with everything that she said, okay? Everything that she said. The first thing that came to mind for me, though, is that the reason women started working was because without working, we are completely reliant on a man to be able to live, to be able to make money, to be able to make choices. We could barely make choices for our own bodies. Um, and like when you think about why so many of us got in the workforce, it was because it was an independent, like it was a move of towards independence. And yet I absolutely agree that this system was not built for us. Clearly, it was not built for for us. And intersectionally for women, for Black women, it was not built for women, and yet it was even more so not built for Black people. And so the misogynoir of hustle culture and the 9 to 5 like hits us in all the different ways, you know? Um, I love Keena. Keena said, "Who is Pete Hegseth?" I guess that is his name. I love how you said it like it was Jeopardy. Yes, I think that's who it is. Girl, don't get me to lying. I just know it's a tall, lanky white man. And when I heard it, I rolled my eyes and went in the other room because it makes me want to punch the television. And the television didn't do it. This man did. So Keena also said, wait, show. There we go. Women are always working, whether we are meant to work or not. Absolutely. We absolutely. Because even when this is the other thing about my original thought was like, a part of this was a part of us getting into uh, the workforce. Women getting into the workforce was a move of independence and our ability to be able to make our own decisions. Um, Whereas for the longest time, that just changed in the 60s, right? Like women were not allowed to buy their own house without a man. Like, oh, so many different things. So while this wasn't made for us, this is what makes me super passionate about supporting black owned women, black owned businesses, and specifically women owned businesses, because we fight for the workforce to be governed differently, for it to be governed in a way that honors us, our bodies, and our our racial challenges as well, and empower us with our independence. Because without our ability to work, we are dependent. We are on a depend. Well, not just that, dependent on a country who is stripping away any kind of social support for a greater population. It's very our our support system is very individualized and always based on how much money you have, based on your pretty much a caste system. So um it is it this whole the idea that being in the workforce altogether in like as a blanket statement, and how it's disrupting our feminine energy and forcing us to be more masculine. I totally agree. And yet, that's also why I do what I do, because I think there is a space. Well, here's the other thing, too. Here's the other thing that I want to point out to this. It is definitely disrupting the natural levels of what our masculine and feminine energy should be. And yet, masculine energy and feminine energy are not a switch. Again, this is not as simple as you turn it on and you turn it off. It's a scale. Feminine energy is on this side, masculine energy is on that side, and learning how to navigate between when you use which energy. Because again, men have feminine energy as well, and they are not honoring their feminine energy nearly enough. Learning how to shift between that scale and how to use those skills, those soft skills, is a skill and a practice that we need to work towards. So I just gave a whole earful. That was a lot to take in. Let me hear your thoughts. Let me see. Megan said, I saw a TikTok earlier today that also said that Black women require more rest. I wish I could remember who it was. I believe it. Because again, when we talk about that intersectionality of the oppressions that we deal with as women, but then the oppressions that we deal with as Black women, whereas Black men don't have to deal with that level of oppression from the gender side. It's just one for them, one dimension. And I'm not saying that I'm just keeping it into this kind of dimensions. I'm not saying that there's not more dimensions outside of this conversation, but I'm talking about the misogynoir dimensions, okay? So they only have to deal with it as for their Blackness, whereas Black women have to deal with it with our Blackness, but then also as a woman. And then when you look at the oppression that comes from brown and Blackness, and specifically being a Black woman, a brown person isn't going to experience it at the same level as a Black woman would, and a white woman is not going to experience that racial tension at all. And so we're dealing with it on multiple dimensions that other races do not have to deal with that intersectionality about it. You know who is also a really good person to have to come on to talk about this? I think Marissa Price would be another great person that I've heard talk about misogynoir a lot. So if you haven't, I think both of you know her and have checked out her content, but I would totally agree that Black women require more rest because of the levels of intersectionality that we have to do, the levels of intersectional oppression that we have to deal with, Okay, Megan also said, if I didn't have to work, I sure wouldn't. The 9 to 5 model is outdated and doesn't work for anyone except CEOs and anyone in upper management. Um, I don't know that it even works for them, if we're being honest. I don't know that they would say that it works for them either. I would just say that they might get the best, maybe the most benefit out of it, but does it actually work for them? Not necessarily. Um, and I'm also curious. I don't know the statistics of this, but if we looked at the statistics of how many people in, let's say, the United States would be one bucket, but then um a second bucket would be the world. How many people are actually in the bucket of being a part of a 9 to 5 versus being a part of, I don't know what they call that schedule, but like the early morning, midday, evening rotations. Cause there's people working throughout the night, even in the United States, not just around the globe. Uh, I would love to understand what's the ratio of people that are actually in that corporate 9 to 5 versus um, the other types of shifts. And then how does that affect them? And is it just that it's the 9 to 5, or is it the 40-hour work week altogether? Like, is it that even if you didn't work a 9 to 5, maybe you worked let's say a 5 to whatever 8 hours is after that. Let me see. That would be 10 is 5 plus 2. So 5 to 1. Let's say you worked a 5 to 1 shift. Um, would that make it better? Or is it that just the way that we set up our works, like just the fact that we expect someone to go hard in working through something, a minimum of 8 hours, and some of us doing physical work that's even longer than that, or even mental work, because you got doctors that are doing 12, 14-hour shifts. Um, like, how are are any of these shifts working, or is any of it working? You know what I mean? Like, is it just the 9 to 5? Is where I'm going with this. Um, I don't have the answer for that because I don't know the statistics around it. And yet, I think what I think would be the most helpful is the ability for flexibility. The problem is our culture has learned to micromanage how everybody works. And it's easier to micromanage when everybody works on a specific a, a, uh, a shift where we're all here together. Because I can see you. I can lean over your shoulder, right? I would love to hear your thoughts. And this is me sharing like the different things that are coming into my mind as we're talking about this. While y'all are getting y'all thoughts together, I want to play that video again. So let me get it back out. Um Share, and then I am going to refresh it so it can start from the beginning.
And forcing us is making us more masculine. Listen, the system we live in runs on a masculine solar clock. Men's biology follow a 24-hour hormonal cycle. Steady energy, resets daily, and consistent output. On the other hand, women's biology is totally different. We run on a 28-day lunar cycle with 4 distinct phases that shifts our hormones, energy, mood, creativity, desire, and even our libido. So fellas, if your woman is never in the mood, this might be why. During menstruation, we naturally need more rest, nourishment, and retreat. Afterwards, energy rises. We feel more social and creative. Ovulation peaks with high energy and libido. And then before the next cycle, we turn inward. We're less social and more reflective. But society ignores this. The 9 to 5 grind, school, work, all designed for a man's biology. So what happens when we're forced to perform even when our body needs rest and nourishment? Stress builds, cortisol rises, and it disrupts estrogen and oxytocin, the hormones that fuel femininity, softness, and connection. The result? Women become more hardened, more closed off, aggressive, emotionally drained, and disconnected from our feminine essence. Men also suffer under patriarchy because this unnatural system spikes their stress levels and pulls them from their natural roles and being able to connect to their divine essence and their purpose as men. Capitalism taught us to tie our worth to productivity, but that's not who we are. The solution? Building community, divesting from these parasitic, unnatural systems, returning to ways of living and being that honor our bodies, our cycles, and each other. And men, it's time to rise in your divine role, to be the steady rock, the protector, the safe foundation, so that women can rest, open, and thrive in their feminine essence again. The women aren't meant to work, and forcing us is making us more masculine.
Okay. The other part that came out that when I listened to it again this time, she said, crap, what did she say? I hate when I lost where I was. Oh, she said that hustle culture was forcing us into this kind of structure, and the thought that came to mind for me is why this is why soft life is such a rebellion, why it's so much more than just being a trophy wife, while it's so much more than just luxury bubble baths or trips and stuff, because this is about challenging how we are forced to show up, and reinventing or recreating what this can look like. But here's the thing about this: we can say that we agree with her, but we also have to have a solution. What does it look like to work with our lunar cycle? What does it look like to um, make great revenue and all of those things and make our businesses thrive? I have some more thoughts about that, but I want to get to what we're talking about I want to see what you guys are talking about in the chat. So let me get that out. Okay. 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 So Kina said the ruling class does not want utopia nor for people to live in tandem with nature. Capitalism is unnatural. I agree. I also think, though, we have to remember not every country is like that. I also think that we forget that just because America is this way doesn't mean everybody believes in that. Which is why I'm not against people moving out of the states. Um, because it challenges us to see other ways of living in the midst of that. But I agree. I agree that there's a ruling class in every country that wants to take advantage of every other class. I will definitely say that. And when you have a ruling class that wants to take advantage of others, utopia can't survive within that, right? So yeah, yeah, I see. I'm with you. I'm with you, Kina. Okay. Megan said, however, the 8 or 9 hour workday is also outdated because I feel most jobs don't take 8 or 9 hours to do. Oh, because you just need the package and you keep running into the spider webs. And to losing everything on the way. Y'all, my best friend is silly. Okay. So I'm gonna read that again. I got distracted. She was trying to get the packages that the guy left. However, the 8 or 9 hour workday is also outdated because I feel most jobs don't take 8 or 9 hours to do. Speaking for my job in admin, I could be there 4 to 5 hours and be done. Again, I agree. I agree. I think also too, a lot of times with our 8 hour workday, you spend so much time. It might take you 4 to 5 hours to get the work done, but you end up spending the other 3 hours dealing with the politics, right? The other 3 to 4 hours. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying that's what happens. So if we didn't have to work in the office, maybe if we didn't have to deal with the politics, yeah, like the they wouldn't feel like it took 8 to 9 hours. I absolutely don't believe it takes that. Um, and yet none of our companies, I think even women own brands. I don't think there's not that many companies and brands that believe in 4 day work weeks. Now, I was a part of an email list. I don't know how many companies it was. There are companies that believe in a 4 day work week. The way that pans out is that you still end up with an 8 hour workday, but you have 3 days to yourself. So I guess I'm curious about that, Megan, or anybody listening. Would you rather have, if you were to split out, let's say 35 hours a week, so less than what we already have, would you rather see that spread out where it's like 6 hours a day for 5 days a week, or would you rather do 4 8 hour workdays? I'm just curious. I'm being devil's advocate here. I'm asking the question. So let me know. Um, Keena says societies can have four work days easily. Oh, there's plenty of, like I said, I know that there's plenty of companies. I don't know how many it is, but I can tell you most of them are not here in the States. Most of them are not here in the States. So that's definitely something to consider. Okay. Hey, Donna. Thank you for joining us in the conversation today. Donna said that's a good point about a woman's cycle because I'd rather be home in bed on mine. Listen, I get it. I get it. I'm on mine now. And I told y'all earlier, I said I don't, especially with perimenopause. And that's the other thing too. Not only, not only are we dealing with um the lunar cycle, like they're also not putting a lot of money and energy into. There was literally, I saw a reel where there were doctors, female doctors, doing a filibuster with the government because the FDA spends a whole bunch of time, money, and energy approving a hormone replacement for men, but not doing the same thing for women. But we are affected by our hormones because we grow another human in our body. And we literally deal with a whole season of life called menopause, but they spend more time and money on hormones for men than they do for us, which hormones affect us. Like, it affects both sides. But why is it so disproportionate towards men when it really affects us? Um, yeah. Yeah. But listen, it's so many different things. So not only are you, I feel like all of it is this effort, especially with our tangerine president in office. I feel like the whole move is to get women back to like barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen, cooking. Like when I look at why Kamala wasn't elected, I don't even think it was because she's black. I think it was because because she's a woman. I don't, I sincerely believe that there is a half of our population that still don't recognize how capable, how powerful, how educated women are. Um, and I know she's not black. I did say that out loud, but you understand what I'm saying. Like that she's a brown woman. So Okay. Meg said, most days I'm not always busy and have to find busy work to do. It's stupid. I agree. I agree. I think, I was thinking about this earlier as far as like the difference between being an entrepreneur and a corporate professional. I miss those days. I miss the days when I could be at work and have to find busy work and still get paid. That's a whole nother topic. But it also shows that it also shows that even while we're at these businesses and they're like we're not even being fully leveraged. So what's the point of keeping us there? And we should still get paid, like, because it's still the same amount of work. Like, so we still should be paid, right? Um, Keena said, I agree, Meg. On days when it's slow, busy work is unnecessary. Passive income can compensate on those days. Donna said, I work 3.5 to 4 day work weeks. I think 3.5 to 4 day work weeks are better than 5. Having 3 days off makes you feel so rested. Kina said, I had a business in my trained profession. I hire women to work as needed around their cycles, as long as the projects are built um, and completed, pay them well, and teach them about passive income. Okay, so I think that is definitely that's leaning towards gig economy. And remember, there was a what I want to say a good decade where gig economy was really, really growing until we hit that last recession back in like 2008, right? Where gig economy was starting to really kick up. I'm not sure what happened to it, but when I hear you talk um, about being able to take on projects, I mean that's freelancer life, and that's all moving towards more entrepreneurship. Is that where, at least that's where I'm hearing it? That's what I'm hearing you say. Is that what you're saying, Kina? Is that what you think the answer is? Is that women should lean more towards entrepreneurship and freelancing and gig work in order to be able to get the kind of work flow like that would better support our cycles? Um, yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts around that. Uh, it's interesting as I think about this for me as an entrepreneur. If I were to schedule my workflow around my cycle, what would that look like? And I'm taking a second to like pause and think about it because as we've been talking about, that's not something that we see companies do very often. Um, so I honestly don't even know even specifically what that would look like. Like I understand, okay, these are different parts of life, but when it comes down to the work that I have to do, and this is why I believe this is why I'm so passionate about in our sessions getting down from, okay, I say I want this soft life, and this is what I want my soft life to look like. I want my soft life to look like being able to work around my cycle in a way that allows me to leverage the different hormonal levels that the different phases that I go into, and to be able to do that. So there's one thing to say that. How do you bring that down from this 40,000 foot view down to what does that look like every on a daily basis? And what I do with my clients is I help them bring here's what I say I want my soft life to look like. How do I bring that down into the things that I do every single day? And that's why we start with the vision. This is the vision. And then the second is bringing it down into the life systems. How do I live that? And then making sure you have support that helps bring you through those those three parts of the triangle on a regular basis. That's what I do when we work together on an extended basis. Um, but the other reason I ask that is because if there are specific things that say there's certain parts of the project that you need to have ready at this time, what keeps us from starting to make those shifts now, even within the patriarchal structure? This is me being like, yes, let's do it. How? So I love the idea. I don't have the answer to that yet. I'm not against it. But even for myself, for me, it looks like I end up creating more space where around these times, the work that I do has not necessarily changed, but around these times where I know my period is happening, I structure myself to not have to show up in the same way that I've shown up before, or that I show up on the other 3 weeks of the month. I want to hear your thoughts. I'm saying the things out loud, but okay. Okay, I want to read this again. Kina said, if I had a business in my trained profession, which, Kina, I'm guessing you're talking about, or maybe you're just talking about from a high level. I'd hire women, look, come back. I'd hire women to work as needed around their cycles as long as the projects are built and completed, and pay them well to teach them about passive income. Here's the other thing about that. There's a cultural transition that has to happen where women can still feel like I'm taken care of even in between projects. Because a lot of us don't think that we can survive on gig work or freelance work or in even contract work. A lot of us don't know how to manage our money well in order to manage the ups and downs. We're so busy living paycheck to paycheck. Like, there's systems that have to happen. Again, that's why I'm so passionate about, once you have this here, we got to come down and bring it into the life systems. And it's possible. It is absolutely possible. We have to be intentional about it. But yes, really good comment, Kina, though. I agree. I want to come back. Where was that? Because I want to be able to put the comments on the screen. Okay. Meg said, I'm the opposite. I hate getting paid to do nothing because I hate wasting my time. I'd rather be at home or working on other interests outside of work. Okay, so then my question for you, Meg, is what are those interests? And I'm not saying to do this, I'm just curious. But if that other interest is, I don't know, reading, is that not something that you can double do at work? I don't know. I'm asking the questions here. So let's say, okay, so here's my question for you, Megan. Let's say your work only takes 4 to 5 hours. If they cut your hours to just those 4 to 5, are you then making sure, like, this is where Kina is saying supplement it with passive income. What makes you not ask for that now? Because what is keeping you from asking for that now, I guess, is the question. I'm just asking. Donna says, similarly, school hours and days need to be revamped from 6.5 hours to 4 hours because it's difficult for most children to focus afternoon. For this to happen for families, families will need income subsidized or to make, you had another thought. again, like, and for families where sending your kids to school is like is the childcare that like you could not wait to get your kids out of daycare so that you could send them to school so that they would be taken care of during the day so that you could work the 8 hours. There's a whole kind of reimagination of society that happens around that, which again in other cultures happens. Um, which is why there's things like this weekend specifically. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a do a plug. There's Exodus Summit is happening this weekend, and Exodus Summit, their whole premise is that we're helping Black women expatriate to other countries um, in the name of freedom and ease. And Exodus Summit helps you do that. And I say Black women, but Black women and their families to be able to do that, to find other options and ways to live. Now, I also understand that not everybody is ready to expatriate. For example, I have lived outside of the country and I came back because some of my closest humans are still here and I want to be a part of their lives. Um, there will come a time where I will come back and forth more often. And there have been seasons where I've done that. So I understand that not everybody is ready to expatriate, but is it something that you've considered, especially if you have kids? A lot of us don't even think that we could do that if we have kids, you know, but actually for a lot of, it's really a good option, a good answer. So if you've never heard of Exodus Summit, I would love for you to check it out. Even if you can't join this weekend, which you should try, I think that they just sent out that the tickets, they have some discounted tickets available. It's worth being in the room to hear the different conversations about how to um, how to start your life somewhere else and how much it costs to do that. It's a whole conversation. But I agree, Donna. It's not just one part. There's so many different parts to the conversation when we consider like what does it look like to restructure society. Again, I'm not against it, but let's figure out what that looks like. And we can start doing that now without waiting for society to change. We don't need to wait for Trump to stop being Trump because Trump is going to do what he does. And he's going to keep trying to find ways to put us in that box. How do we start creating this lifestyle despite the structure? Again, this is exactly what I do with when I work with clients. And I love to do it on a one-to-one because what Megan wants is going to be different than what Keena wants, which is going to be different than what Donna wants, which is going to be different than what I want. And I'm not about trying to put you into my box. My whole goal as your lifestyle coach is to help you envision your new lifestyle based on what's important to you and then create life systems around helping you build that and make that a reality despite the structure that we live in, and then supporting you as you start to make that transition, because the transition can take us out. Like, not just the vision can be is hard, the systems are hard, and then the transition is hard, and that's why we need to support. Not impossible, but I also want to be clear, like, if you think you're just going to take a bubble bath and that creates your soft life, that's why so many of us are missing out on this. We think it's because we're broke, but it has nothing to do with broke. It's because the hard thing that we need to do is not work harder for the patriarchy. It's to take that energy and put it towards our lifestyle design and building that, rather than putting that energy towards trying to make their structure work. Let's put the energy towards creating our own structure. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, let me see. Megan said, if I'm going to sit around and do nothing, I want it to be my decision. Of course. Of course. It's like, I don't want to be, if I want to sit around and do nothing, I don't want you to have to force me to sit around and do nothing here. I want to be able to sit around and do nothing somewhere else. I have to say, but that's also the reason why there are so many companies fighting against um, Now, this is me being devil's advocate, but I'm putting this out here. This is why so many companies are fighting against working from home, because when you work from home, you have more flexibility of on your downtimes of what that looks like and how you use it. And at work, well, at least you're on call. When you're at the job, even if you don't have anything to do, at least I'm paying you to be on call. I'm not saying that's right. I'm just sharing the different sides of the perspective here. Okay. Um, and if I were, listen, if I were your boss, I would be, I wouldn't have, I would not have that same kind of parameter. But I'm also not a micromanager. I'm like, here's the project. Here's what you need to get it done. Here's how many times I want you to check in with me. Um, but other than that, I'm going to empower you to figure it out. I actually expect employees that work for me to use their brain for the hours that you're with me. If you need me to tell you every single step and you can't actually try to figure anything out, it's one thing if you need to exchange ideas with me. It's another thing if you are expecting me to tell you every single step to do. If that's the case, then I could almost do it myself because I'm not getting to fully hand it off to you. So again, I'm just saying the different perspectives of this. So maybe also too, it's also not simple to just start your own business either. So while we say like, oh, I don't want to be forced to stay on I don't want to be forced to stay in one spot. The other side of that is starting your own business where you can have idle time and you get to choose what that idle time looks like. And yet you're also responsible for making sure the money comes in. You know, it's a different challenge. Again, I'm not saying one or the other over the other. I'm just bringing all the different parts of it into the conversation, okay? This is the fun part of facilitating a conversation, is bringing the different thoughts around into it. Keena said, workflow to support our cycles isn't gig economy, in my opinion. You can still have a career without being an entrepreneur. I agree, Keena. I agree. I absolutely agree. And I think that's the beauty of being able to reimagine what your soft life looks like on a personal level. Because I think the other thing too is we're so busy trying to standardize how everybody needs to work. But like morning people shouldn't be forced to work in the evening, and night owls shouldn't be forced to work in the morning. Like what can the work not still get done? And maybe there's accountable if it comes down to trying to figure out how to hold someone accountable, there's different solutions to that. But yet right now, the structure has been set up that accountability looks like everybody has to be at the same place at the same time. I don't think that I don't think that's obviously not working well. And I don't think it has to be the solution. There's so many other solutions to it, right? Megan says, sometimes I can work on my reading or writing while I'm at work, but not always. Yeah, I get that. And I'm not saying that trying to do your personal things at work is the solution. I'm just saying in the transition of finding something that better works for you, is that something that you can do? To take advantage of not feeling like to at least not feel like I'm wasting my time. Because I can understand. Nobody wants to feel like they're wasting their time. Nobody. You're like, listen, I only got 24 hours in a day. I only got 100 years or so to live. I don't want to waste it spending it on time that I could be doing something other than just sitting here. I completely get that. I'm just asking the questions to say, is there something that you can help level that out in the meantime? Because specifically for you, Megan, I know that you're looking for something else. Is there a way to start to start shifting yourself to being able to take advantage of the life that you want to live and start doing those things now rather than waiting until you find that new, you know? Megan also said, I have also been debating about dropping down from full time to part time because those shifts are only 4 to 6 hours. It would still be a slight pay cut, right? And this is the question that we end up asking ourselves. Is it worth it? Is it worth it if it helps me have more time to look for jobs? Is it worth it if I have more time to promote my passive income business? Is it worth it if I have more time to invest in education to start my business? Is it worth giving this company less of my time and therefore getting less money in order to jumpstart the things that I'm actually passionate about in my soft life? Unfortunately, everything is a trade off. We're not gonna, I would love to say, I think there are some things in life that are not directly connected, but there are some things that are directly connected, you know? It's just a matter of what is this trade-off going to be, and am I okay with it? Is it worth it to me? You know? Keena said, yes, creating our own structure unapologetically. Amen. Amen. Snap, snap, snaps. I can't snap with this thumb because the nail is still falling off. But Black women are restructuring. Oops, it went off too fast. Black women are restructuring capitalism that fits our cycles and goals more than any time in history. Come on, Keena. Come on. We are. Because we're the beauty here. The challenge of being a Black woman is the misogynoir. But the beauty of being a Black woman is being rebellious enough and an independent thinker enough to say, wait a minute, there's another way to do this, right? And being willing to trailblaze what that new way of doing is. And that gets me excited. I love doing that. Yes. Give me one of them women to work with. That's what I love. I love, love, love so much. Come on. Megan said, I think a big chunk of my job dissatisfaction goes back to what we talked about in the past, wind down about not being aligned with the right career. I completely agree with. I get that. I get that. And that's the other reason why I was saying, here's the thing about alignment. Okay. I don't think if you try to make everything in your job be something that you love, it's very easy to let that make your job consume you. No matter what your job is, I want you to have a life outside of it. So if your job is creating dissatisfaction, you still need to be making sure you're bringing things that are in alignment for you outside of your job to create some harmony while you're looking for a job that can have more alignment than the job that you have now. Again, trade-offs. If you want full 100% alignment in what you do for work, you're probably going to end up starting your business. There might be times where you can find that in a career. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. And yet, that in itself takes a lot of time and energy. But again, not impossible. But in the meantime, if your job only provides like 25% of alignment, how much of that alignment are you making sure you get outside of your job? So that your job can't be the most important thing, no matter what. How you make money should not be the most important thing. How I make money is not the most important thing. The most important thing to me is little munchkins that are riding past trying to figure out how they can get over here to be in the screen. Or the other things that bring me alive, the things that I give away as a human. And that's why, again, when I work with my clients, we start with vision because vision and identity go hand in hand. Who do you want to be known? What do you want to be known for? Who do you want to be known as? Those things empower how you live your life, your values, all of those things. And there might be a part of you that that ends up being where you can get some of this from your job, but then if you added this other thing outside of your job, then that gives you both sides of the coin. Or it might be that your job can give you more of that. But again, it's a scale. It's a scale. All of this is a scale. Am I crazy? Do you see what I'm saying? Are you seeing what I'm saying about alignment? Because we can't, I don't want us to flatten alignment to, oh, I just need a job that's perfect for me. Because honestly, nothing is perfect. Even in me being an entrepreneur, there are still parts of this that I don't love. Because if we look at the genius matrix, which is zone of genius, zone of excellence, zone of competence, and zone of incompetence, there's always going to be things on this underside that are a zone of competence and incompetence. So as a business owner, until I get to the level where I can uh, pay someone to do those things, I'm still doing those things. And even when I pay someone to do those things, I then take on the pressure of making sure we're making enough money to make sure those people are getting paid. All of these are trade-offs. Okay. I know sometimes people hate when I bring the reality into it. Are you mad at me right now? Don't be mad at me. I just don't want to dish you an unrealistic expectation, but I want you to know it's possible, and it starts with little, like we start with, that's why we started with rest. Like, what are the ways that I can add more rest in my schedule? Now, how can I bring more alignment into my schedule, or alignment into my life? That's adding more fun things. That's adding activities that bring out the different parts of you that bring fulfillment to you, but are not the things that you get to use at work. For example, when I was in fashion, I didn't get to connect with people the way I get to connect with people now. I got to use my problem solving skills. I got to use my system, I'm a very systematic person. I'm an INTJ. I got to use some of those things that bring me alive as an INTJ, but not all of them. If I would have had the understanding about this that I have, if I would have had this understanding then about what I have now, I would have stayed in my corporate job and added those things outside of my job, because at least I knew I was getting $80,000 a year. You know what I mean? As I'm building this business, that's not always guaranteed right now. I'm going to get there, but it's not always guaranteed now. And are you willing to go through that transition to make all of that happen? I feel like I got onto another part. So let me come back. We were talking about um how the structure of work, the workforce in America, the shifts and the times that we have to be at work do not work with um a woman's cycle, a woman's phases of their cycle throughout the month. So yes, Meg said, maybe I wouldn't mind working 8 or 9 hours if my work environment was better. I agree. And so here's what I'm going to challenge you, Meg. Write down, what does better look like? What is missing from your work environment right now? Like, these are the things that when we're going into a job interview, we need to be asking the questions. These are the things that make me feel welcome. These are the things that make me feel a part of a team. Does your team do that? Like, we should be interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing us, but we don't have those things written down. We're not using those as a perspective. A lot of times we're just trying to run away from the situation that we're in, rather than making sure we're not jumping from the pan into the fire. So my challenge to you in love, because I want you to find what you want. I want you to get what you want. I want you to not have to feel out of alignment. I want you to feel very much be building a life of your soft life. And the way that we get to living our soft life is by deciding, what does it look like, and writing it down. Get it out of your head. We think that we have to, I don't know why we think we have to manage all of it in our head. Get it out of your head. Use it as a checklist. Write it down, okay? Meg said, I get what you're saying, Rashida. You're giving me a lot to think about. And then you said, I don't hate you. Thank you for not hating me. I do give a lot to think about. And it is a lot to think about. That's why I love being a coach and helping people navigate this conversation, because sometimes we're so busy. And I'm telling you this from my own experience. I got to a point where I was so busy running from the things that I hated at my job that I wasn't really paying attention to what I was running towards. There is one thing to run away from something, there's another thing to run towards something. I want you to know what you're running away from as motivation, as clarity to understand what specifically you're running towards. Otherwise, you could keep running and not actually run into what you want, because you still have not decided what you want. You just know what you're running from. Okay? Like, that's the huge, huge part of lifestyle design. That's, again, so much of why I do what I do. I didn't understand that at the beginning. All I knew was what I was running from. But when I got clear on what I was running to, yes, those things were still happening, but it was more like, oh, this is an indicator of who I am as a person, of what my values are as a person, of things that I am not willing to settle for as a person. And that therefore dictates and clarifies the picture and the vision that I'm running towards. And when I know what I'm running towards, it's easier to say, oh, that doesn't fit into this picture. I can't take that. I can't do that. Or I might be able to do that for a short time, but I'm not going to be able to, I'm not going to make that a life thing. And that simplifies our transition, even if there's still the difficulty in making the transition. So, Tracy. Tracy said, okay, I need to catch up. Sorry. Hey, ladies. Hey, we're so glad you got a chance to join us. Okay, so here's what we're talking about today. Let me go ahead and play this video one more time. Keena shared this video with us, and it's so good. And I'm just gonna let it play for you now. I hate that it starts it off muted. I don't want it to mute it, and it's not gonna let me. Let me see. It's not gonna let me decide where to start it. But let me.
Women aren't meant to work, and forcing us is making us more masculine. Listen, the system we live in runs on a masculine solar clock. Men's biology follow a 24-hour hormonal cycle. Steady energy resets daily and consistent output. On the other hand, women's biology is totally different. We run on a 28-day lunar cycle with 4 distinct phases that shifts our hormones, energy, mood, creativity, desire, and even our libido. So fellas, if your woman is never in the mood, this might be why. During menstruation, we naturally need more rest, nourishment, and retreat. Afterwards, energy rises, we feel more social and creative. Ovulation peaks with high energy and libido. And then before the next cycle, we turn inward. We're less social and more reflective. But society ignores this. The 9 to 5 grind, school, work, all designed for a man's biology. So what happens when we're forced to perform even when our body needs rest and nourishment? Stress builds, cortisol rises, and it disrupts estrogen and oxytocin, the hormones that fuel femininity, softness, and connection. The result? Women become more hardened, more closed off, aggressive, emotionally drained, and disconnected from our feminine essence. Men also suffer under patriarchy because this unnatural system spikes their stress levels and pulls them from their natural roles and being able to connect to their divine essence and their purpose as men. Capitalism taught us to tie our worth to productivity, but that's not who we are. The solution? Building community, divesting from these parasitic, unnatural systems, returning to ways of living and being that honor our bodies, our cycles, and each other. And men, it's time to rise in your divine role, to be the steady rock, the protector, the safe foundation, so that women can rest, open, and thrive in their feminine essence again. The women aren't meant to work, and forcing us.
Okay. So, Tracy, that's what we're talking about today. Also, we're glad you got a chance to join us today. I'm sorry it wasn't you that made you miss it last week. I was having technical difficulties. But we got it today. Listen, we're clear. You can hear me. It's not buffering. Yes and amen. Okay. So Keena said there was a chart in a real post that shows the male cycle is 24 hours, while women have 4 cycles that fluctuate week to week and with the moon. Oh, it went away. I gotta make it. I want you to. There we go. Let's do 20 seconds. I wasn't taught that about any life cycle until I retired. Listen, it does matter. And I think awareness is a huge, huge part of it. So let me go ahead and put that up there because Keena shared that with me as well. It's a good graphic. I'm loving this conversation, Keena. Let me bring it up. Let me bring it up. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so this is the chart that Keena was talking about. Or Keena, was it a different one? This was the one that you sent me. See, we're talking about how men have a 24-hour cycle, morning, midday, afternoon, and night, which is all in the same day. Testosterone peaks in the morning. He feels focused, alert, and ready to go. Midday, testosterone is still high. He's social, confident, and productive. Afternoon, testosterone begins to dip. He will feel tired and quieter. Time to wind down. Night, testosterone is at its lowest. Time for sleep and reset. Which is also interesting too, because do you remember seeing the shows where it's like when by the time the man gets home, he doesn't have much energy for his family. He's just ready to kind of shut down. And that means that men are spending their best energy of the day at work rather than with their families. Just an interesting thought to put out there. Okay, so then on the flip side, women's cycle is 28-day cycle, not a 24-hour, 28-day cycle. Follicular phase, after your period, estrogen rises. You'll feel motivated, clear, and energized. Ovulation phase, all key hormones peak. You'll feel magnetic, outgoing, and vibrant. Luteal phase, progesterone rises, estrogen dips. You'll crave more rest, space, and reflection. Menstrual phase, all hormones drop. Your body needs deep reset and recovery. Now, here's the thing. A lot of us don't even track. A lot of us don't even track our cycle. A lot of us don't know how many days our cycle is. Not all of our cycles are exactly 28 days. And sometimes your cycle is not the same amount of days every single month. Are you tracking that? Like that's one step that we could start doing right now that helps bring us closer to like there's when I that's why the other thing I think about soft life is it's not one dimensional. It's so much of us learning about who we are and our feminine energy and the femininity of our bodies and the way our bodies are meant to work. Um, to start shifting. I track my cycle. Are you tracking it? And then within that, are you keeping track of how long your follicular phase is, how long your ovulation phase is, how long your luteal phase and your menstrual phases? All of these, like these are things that we can start leveraging now with even within the structure. Yes, the structure should be brought down, but I'm not about to wait for that structure to fall. I can start taking care of myself right now with the knowledge that I know. And that's why we're sharing this, you know? Um, so if you're, I like the second graph because you get to see how all of the different parts fit together. And so the follicular phase it says typically days 1 to 14. Ovulation is typically day 14, which your ovulation is generally 3 to 4 days, but okay. And then your luteal phase is 15 to 28. Again, information that help us. So let me go back so I can see what the comments are. Stop sharing. Okay. Okay, good. This one. Okay, good. Okay. And then that was the comment you just made. Okay. So Meg said that's a great way to reframe it. What I'm running towards instead of running away. Right. Because right now, here's what happens. We get so stuck in our pain And they talk about this anytime you listen to anything that's about manifesting, they're going to talk about this as well. If you're so busy focusing on your pain, even though you're saying that's not what you want, because that's what you're focusing on, that's what you continue to manifest. Whereas when you switch your focus to focus on what you're running towards, even while acknowledging your pain, you give more energy to what you're manifesting, what you actually want, what you're running towards, versus focusing all your energy on what you don't want, what you're running away from. You see what I'm saying? It's powerful. Now, here's the thing. These are a lot of different perspectives, and you're trying to figure out, well, how do I overlay that, what I'm manifesting, what I'm running away from, and what I'm running towards with my 9 to 5, plus the things that are happening in my family, plus my cycle, my lunar cycle, all of these things. Again, that's why I help you step back from being in the weeds of trying to use this. If you're trying to use all of this information in a second to second decision making phase, no wonder you got decision fatigue. This is why you can't do it all in your head. Okay. This is why you cannot figure out how to transition from burnout and the things that you're running, the pain that you're running from, to the things that you're running towards and creating your soft life. This is why you cannot figure that transition out in your head. This is why you have to have the opportunity to step back and say, okay, and this is a tool. This is an actual tool. It's called the there, here path, or here, there path. I said it backwards. You write out here. This is where I am right now. Here's what my life looks like right now. Here are the things I don't like. Here are the things that are working. You get really clear. You write that out, okay? And then you create a there. This is what I want my life to look like. These are the things that are missing that I'm putting into my life. These are the things that I have from my life that I want to keep. And then that clarifies you're there. This is all a part of your vision casting, okay? Or some people say visioning. Visioning is not a word. Vision casting, okay? So now you're creating your there. And then your systems, this is what I talk about. Remember the vision, the life systems, and then the support. The systems is the path that gets you from here to there. That's how this comes together. There's a method to my madness. I know y'all think that I'm just making it up. I promise you I'm not. This is years of doing it wrong and doing a lot of studying and figuring out how to do it better and not trying to design the life that I want in my head. You cannot do that. That's the sure way to end up yourself in decision fatigue, working hard in ways that you shouldn't be, putting yourself, stretching yourself thin, burnout. Like that's trying to manage all of this in your head is the number one way to do that. Okay. Start writing the stuff down. Like you can take just what I just said and write that down. What is your here? What do you want your there to look like? What do you think the path, even without working with me, you can start using those things, you know? I hope you believe me. Keena said, I feel that a women's circle community helps us purge and collaborate without being overwhelmed. I agree, which is another reason why I love doing this on Friday, because these are the topics. I don't know a whole bunch of people that talk about this. I think we skim over it because we can't, that some of us can't handle it. But I think if you feel like someone can't handle it, it's because you're expecting them to do too much all at one time. I'm not asking you to go from burnout to your soft life tomorrow, from today till tomorrow. I'm not even asking you to do it in a year. This was a 6-year transition for me. I'm not saying it needs to be that long for you. That's why, as a coach, I'm going to help you do it faster. I'm going to simplify it for you. I'm going to give you the resources. I'm going to walk you through it so that it doesn't take you that long. But it's not going to be overnight and it's not going to have to take forever. But that's the beauty of working with a coach, you know? And when we come together as a community, we can start having these conversations that prime us and get our mind ready so that when we're ready to work together, you're like, oh, yes, I know the terminology. I know what we're about to do. I'm ready to get into it and do the things. These conversations aren't new to me. I'm starting to understand. Now I'm just looking for resources to help me take those steps. I'm looking for the support to help me take these steps. So, yes, Keena said, just like each week, this is our Black woman decompression and manifestation cycle. Agreed. Agreed. And when you have things like this as a part of your soft life systems that you do on a regular basis, the beauty of a system is that you can simplify how you show up for yourself on a regular basis. You don't have to stop and say, wait, I haven't showed up for myself this week. What am I going to do? You don't have to do that. There are some spaces in your life where you can do that. But if you have your regular systems of things like this, where you know on Fridays, this is something that helps me stay on track. My weekly planning, something that helps me stay on track. My regular hobby that I do with XYZ, like mine was on Thursdays. I'm switching that around, but having these life systems that help balance, then the things that aren't in alignment, you're not focused on them anymore because you got other things to focus on. You got other things that are creating harmony and what's happening over here as you continue working. And here's the beautiful thing that I will tell you, y'all. I'm gonna use the part of my journey around my debt. The more that I got better at my systems around paying off my debt and managing my money, the more that the things that felt alignment at work started to fall into alignment. And the more that I was able to, not just financially, but also just lifestyle wise, being able to make more space that allow for more alignment. So what I'm saying is, whenever you start making more time for rest, other things, that discipline that you start to expend on getting more rest, that overflows into the other parts of your life, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing because it's like, oh, like we're on a rhythm now. And it's nice. It snowballs into beautiful things that start to happen. Okay. Oh, Tracy, I'm sorry to hear it's been a hard week. And I'm sorry to hear that she's fighting with USPS because man, fighting with them ain't nothing fun about having to deal with them. Yes. Keena said, yep, it's been a year and my cortisol level just started to decrease. Yes. Yes. This is not an overnight thing. It's not an overnight thing. Even once you start making huge headway in your behavior, your body still has to be reminded you're safe. You're safe. You're safe. You're safe. Now add that we are women and everything that I've been talking about with perimenopause. Man, Keena, let me tell you, if you get you some HRT, some hormone replacement therapy, in addition to the rest that you're getting, ooh, talk about a whole new level of soft life that you're going to feel by making that shift. Because listen, hormone replacement therapy, so many things happen. It helps your cortisol levels. It's going to help your blood pressure. That's going to help um, your muscle mass. So you actually start burning more fat. You will lose weight, like all of these things. And then once you start doing all of that and you already got your life systems going, now you got more energy to go and get a little hanky panky or to go do your trips or to even deal with the things that are out of alignment because now you've gotten all of these other things that should be and that are in alignment that are helping to overflow into the things that are not in alignment. It's a thing, y'all. It's a thing. Okay. We just spent a whole bunch of time on this. Such a good conversation. Kina, I love this conversation. Thank you so much for bringing it up. Ladies, as you can see, if you think of anything that would be a great conversation for us to talk about here, that this is exactly what this is about. Like, if you're seeing content and you're like, oh, I want to talk about how does that affect me creating my soft life? Is that helping me? Is it hurting? Like, what are the thoughts around this? How can I use this in my vision to help, help me make this transition into my soft life? I want to talk about all of those things. Send me the content. Let's talk about it here in this community, in this conversation. It's such a good conversation. Okay. So yeah, send it to me on Instagram. If you want to email it to me, you can email it to me at rashadat@yourdreamstrategist.com. Instagram is fine though, especially because that's probably, if you find it there, if you find it on TikTok, you can email me. You can DM me there as well. If you find it on YouTube, then you'll have to maybe, I don't, can you tag people on YouTube? I don't know. But yes, send it to me. I would love for us to have conversation about it. And then in the midst of that, if you are ready to start doing practical things that help you start building your soft life, that help you start creating life systems that help you make this transition, the first system that I hands down suggest is prioritizing rest by scheduling rest and fun. Okay. Like that's where this all started from. This whole live stream started with helping you prioritize rest and fun and doing it in a way that allows you to put it on like repeat, okay? Because then when you get that on repeat, this starts to flow and the overflow, it overflows into the other things that are feeling out of alignment. So if you've gotten off track with it, no worries. We all get off track with our habits at some point. This is the time to get back on track. Schedule your rest and fun. And if you're looking for ways to do that, I have a worksheet that helps you do that completely free. It is let me where's it at? Let me see. Let me put the link up on the screen for you. I know I have it here. Let me find it. Okay, here it is. Okay. So if you're looking for that worksheet that's going to help you prioritize rest and fun, this is the link on the screen. It might not be in the description because I've been playing with the description. Freedom Fridays at yourdreamstrategist.com. Completely free worksheet that's going to help you start scheduling, like creating a routine, a life system. Put routine and life system on the same, those are the same thing, okay? In your mind, help you start creating a routine around prioritizing rest and fun and getting it in your week every single week, okay? That's what that worksheet is going to help you do. Okay. Then if you're like, but I don't know what activities I can do to get more rest and fun in my schedule, that's when you're going to want the other worksheet. And that's our activities guide. In that is 30 plus activities that you can, like close your eyes and then run down the list and say, I need an activity to try, stop on that one, and then try it. Because here's the thing, when we are so used to doing the next best thing, we're used to working. And then we forget, wait, how do I actually do fun stuff? Like what stuff do I like to do? All I remember is all I'm used to doing is collapsing in front of the television. That's not enough to bring you into alignment. That's not enough to give you the kind of rest that you need. That's not enough. That's not fun. It's sometimes we need it, but it's not enough to bring you fully into rest. And so this activities guide gives you a bunch of different activities that you can try completely free. And let me go ahead and put that that worksheet is on the screen. So that's freedomfridays.yourdreamstrategist.com/activities. You can get those activities there and start using those activities. And then know that I'm going to be creating an activities deck that's going to be launching in January, where you have a card. You could decide what type of rest, because there's 7 different types of rest. You could decide what type of rest your body needs, pull a card, and then do that rest activity that way. So that's coming in January. But this worksheet is going to get you started in the meantime. And this will also put you on my email list so that when I launch it, you're ready for it. Okay. Listen, There are resources. This is not a pie in the sky. I did not make this up. This is not woo woo. I could just go take a luxury bath, or that I could meditate. Those are resources and activities that help you on this journey, but it's not the whole part of the journey. It is a whole mindset shift. It's a lifestyle shift that happens. And that's what I walk you through as your lifestyle coach. And so this is a really great way to start. This is why I do this. So for one, you're building your awareness around what this looks like. And then two, you're starting to take action to build it right now by getting some of these worksheets and taking action that way. So Kina said, let me see. Time flew. Yes, time does fly when we're having fun. And guess what? We didn't have any technical difficulties today. Yay! I hope that it can continue this way. And I hope that everybody that tried to join last week gets a chance to join today, or at least to watch the replay. Y'all, and then also too, thank you for taking the time to like this video. I always appreciate it, because that helps YouTube know to show this to other Black women who might enjoy this as well. So thank you for doing that. You're helping us to grow this community, but more than that, you're helping me spread this movement, because a lot of us think that soft life is a trend. It's not a trend for me. It's not a trend for me. This is a lifestyle shift. This is a movement. This is an act of rebellion. And I listen. You're not about to take my rebellion away. Like this, this is a movement for me. And so you being here means that you're a part of this movement, and you taking the second to like this video helps share this movement with other Black women um, who need to join us, who need to step into the rebellion, because this is a different way of rebellion. We think that rebellion, or even like all of the movies and all the things that we see, the way that they rebel is fighting the patriarchy, try to bring it down. And I do believe that that's a thing, but I don't think that's the fight right now. We've done a lot of that. Listen, we tired of that. We need a break. We need to rebel in a different way, and rebel in a way that's not just rebellion, but it's also empowerment, which is also refreshment and rejuvenation. And so, yes, that's why I do what I do. I would love for you to share it with other women. And no matter what, I am always so grateful when you come and join and rest with me here. Thank you. Um, Come on, Keena. I'm into it. I'm into it. You know what's been helping too? Where is that at? So I can share that on the screen. Oh, it's over here. Keena said, we're trying to get you to 1,000 subscribers. Yes, Keena, thank you. Come on. I love it. You know what's been helping too? I've been taking these videos and I've been cutting them down into clips. And gosh, it's really been kicking off on TikTok, but it's been starting to kick off on YouTube as well. So I just got to stay the course, keep doing it, knowing that this is helping me connect with all of you guys. But thank you for being on my team. Thank you for wishing that for me, Keena. I appreciate that literally from the bottom of my heart. Yes. All right. So then, y'all, I'm going to shut it down. Well, you know what? I'm trying to level up our our live stream experience. And I'm also starting to share this as a podcast. I don't know if you probably haven't seen that yet. So, with that being said, let me see. How do I get back out of here? Oh man. Oh man. Oh, it's here. So, with that being a thing, I'm making sure I do an intro and outro. So I'm gonna go ahead and post it, and we're gonna wind it down, y'all. Thank you so much for taking a second to join me today. I appreciate you as always. Make sure you share this with another Black woman who would enjoy this conversation. Oh crap, I did not hit the right thing. Listen, I'm gonna get this right. I am. I'm going to get it right. That's because I'm trying to do a lot of amazing things that I'm still learning how to do. But either way, I'm going to go ahead and wind down, and I will see you guys next week. Is it this one? Yes. Share. Let me see. Did I get everybody? I'm going to make sure I got everybody's comments. Yes, bye, Kina. See you next week. Bye, Megan. Y'all have a great week, ladies. Let me see. I want to put it on the screen. See, I got to figure out which. There we go. Yes, have a great rest of your weekend. See y'all next Friday. Yes, I love it. Yes, peace. I love getting this together. I enjoy it. All right, y'all. Have a good one.